In 1974, the first tabletop role-playing game was created. Since then, people from all around have gathered to play. Join me as we talk with RPG enthusiasts while they share their best, worst, and favorite moments. This is You Had to Be There. Hey everyone, welcome to You Had to Be There, a D&D storytelling podcast. First time tuning in, I'm your host. This is just a pretty cool D&D storytelling podcast where we sit down with RPG enthusiasts and talk about some awesome tabletop role-playing game stories. My guest today is Amanda Grace, and why don't you do a lot of stuff. I feel like what's cool is you're kind of a jack of all trades, and I respect that because I feel like I've been told that before. You do a lot, right? You do like TikToks. You've done some voice acting too, right? You've done.
Yes, I have done.
Yeah, amazing.
Thank you. I've done. I do TikToks. I actually officially joined the Creator Fund this week.
Oh wow, that's
yeah,
huge. That's huge.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. And
wow.
Cosplay and voice acting and tabletop RPGs and everything. I did seamstressing for a year, so Renaissance costumes, all the fun stuff.
Cool. I've been rocking out what I like lately. I've been, instead of doing just doing the same thing each time. My off the top question for you: when you're coming up with a character, what comes first? Like the way I think of when you make a character, you have like your race, your class, and then like personality / backstory. When you have an inspiration for a character, what tends to come first?
Usually the class.
The class, yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
very cool.
You want a solid foundation of what can they do, what can't they do, what are they going to be good at, and who fits the bill.
Right, and then you would say that's how I kind of look at it. Like when I was first starting to learn these classes, I would read about a class and then be like, if I was to play that class, what type of class would that be? Or like something like that. I like that. I like that method. And then I totally agree. So what was your first character? What did you play? Or first system / first character?
My first character, we started with Pathfinder, actually.
All right.
I was
Very cool.
16, and I made a druid elf because I was just that original.
No, that's a good combination.
Yeah, she was fun.
Well, do you remember her name?
Alana, I think.
Alana. Okay, that's good.
Yeah.
That's cool.
And I really wanted her to have an animal companion because she was a druid, so eventually I did get a direwolf.
Very nice. That's pretty funny, actually. I'd obviously, Mike McGarry did the music for my intro.
Oh, did he really?
And he played an elf druid our first campaign together, an elf druid.
Solid.
He didn't have a direwolf, but we found a wolf in a cage, and he saved it and then made it his companion, which
he adopted it,
which is fun. Yeah, it's scary.
That's so cute.
Having animal companions is so bittersweet because you're like, this is so fun, but then you're like, oh my god, this thing can die really quickly, and I almost had everyone mad at me 2 weeks ago because I almost endangered the mule we had pulling our cart since the beginning of our That was fine. I'm a healer. She was fine. Mrs. Nichols was fine, so it's okay.
Mrs. Nichols, that's adorable.
Yeah, Mrs. Nichols, and I almost was exiled. But all right. So you started. So then, when was this? You said when
I was 16.
16.
So 2009.
Wow, that's amazing. That's a really long time. So you started with Pathfinder. How long did you play with that group for?
I've been playing with that group pretty much since we all went away to college, and every once in a while we would still get together on the weekends during college, and now every once in a while I don't join as much as I used to because I'm further away now.
Right.
But they still get together. We still got together throughout college and a little bit after.
Nice. And did you stay with Pathfinder? You said you started with Pathfinder, or did you
We
switch?
started with Pathfinder. And you know what? Pathfinder is a special place in my heart. It was the first one. I still really like its rules. We definitely upgraded to the Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition after that. But we've also done Shadowrun and Warhammer.
Oh, wow. Oh, man. I haven't even touched Warhammer. I haven't even looked at anything about it because there's too many. I hear some things. I hear it's a lot of fun, but
It is. I think Warhammer was actually my favorite.
Really? So, well, like, what?
Yeah.
I guess enlighten me a little bit. What makes... Because Warhammer is much more... Like, it's really has to be like a set involved, right?
A little bit. The way that we played it, we usually like run fast and lose with the rules anyway.
Okay.
The way that we played it, it was a little more sci-fi heavy than fantasy heavy.
Okay.
So I think it was favorite because I accidentally became the captain of an orc spaceship.
Nice. How'd you... Wait, so... Alright, so then maybe Warhammer is a little more role-playing than I thought it was. I thought it was more like a straight war game.
It can be a straight war game. Unfortunately, I didn't get too deep into Warhammer before we all broke up and went to college.
Gotcha.
So that campaign was actually never finished. But we played it for a while. It was really heavy in roleplay in the opening, at least, but the DM that I had, he was a great DM. He made it really fun. He was the one crunching all the numbers, making sure everything was flowing nicely. Like, he put a lot of effort in.
Yeah, hats off, as always, any person running DM, Game Master, Keeper, any of all of y'all. Always a big hats off to everyone who's got those skills. Nice. So, you played through all the systems. So you said, though, which one was your favorite? You said Warhammer was your favorite, though. I think
I liked Warhammer just because it was my favorite story. In terms of mechanics, I never really got too deep into the mechanics because my DM did everything for me.
Everything for you.
Yeah.
Alright. I think that's why, like, when you went... Because, like, when you were playing Pathfinder, was it Pathfinder 1 or Pathfinder 2? Do you know?
I don't remember.
That's alright, because I just know, like, apparently Pathfinder 1 was, like, even more complicated than the other ones, because, yeah. Did you find it, like, when you went to 5th edition, did you like it better? Because it was
an upgrade. It was absolutely an upgrade. Yeah, because Pathfinder that we played, I remember it being like really, really dry, really slow, but very drawn out, very methodical, and like really particular.
Yeah.
So I remember switching over to 5e with my friends and be like, all right, I'll pop in on this, it'll be fine. And then we're like whisked away on an adventure.
Yeah, it's kind of like a vacation.
Same thing.
Vacation of the mind, right?
Imagination vacation, Dave.
Yes.
And yeah, it was definitely a lot more fun.
Did you continue a similar, like, you said the story was better, but, like, did you continue a similar story, or you started from scratch?
We always started from scratch anytime we changed a style. So, like, we started with Pathfinder, and it was going after the mage Steve. He was the big bad guy.
Nice.
And then we went to Dungeons and Dragons, and I think it was Mitchell Flips, which was a fish person version of Michael Phelps, which was a big bad evil guy.
Okay, so my next question of were these homebrew campaigns kind of answered itself at this point. Because
a little bit.
I'm pretty sure no one at Wizards of the Coast wrote in a Michael Phelps villain and got away with it. That's really fun. Did you continue with like that kind of caster class when you went to Dungeons and Dragons, or did you try something different?
I graduated from elf to half elf.
That's okay. That's good.
And then I kind of played around a little bit. Like I like to try out rogue, of course. You know what angsty teen doesn't.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I probably would have picked a rogue too if I was an angsty teen when I started.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I tried paladin. I hated that class because I am neither lawful nor good. So.
No. Yeah. That's a tough one.
It is. I didn't realize how hard it would be to be a paladin. Like respect.
Yeah. So like I also agree. Like I was more partial to like a neutral or neutral good character, or like neutral bad a little bit. But I think we're going to be doing a Christmas one shot with some people. So I was like, what better place to play a paladin than someone who wants to save Christmas? I think that's the only time where like the true good can shine, because I think we're going to be like saving Christmas. I'm like, all right, this is my paladin moment, because I don't think
that's cute. I actually really like that.
Yeah, but I agree. So you don't like the paladin. So what did you end up getting drawn to with that system? Do you remember?
So yeah, I think it was mostly rogue, and because I like the dexterity, like having high acrobatic skills is always a favorite. Because I like to get fancy when I'm fighting.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it was just druid and then rogue, and then I finally like really came into my stride when I figured out what a bard was like.
Yeah.
And I've been a bard since.
Oh really? You're a true bard.
I haven't wavered.
That's good. That's great, because like bards can be really useful, but like, if you're not prepared to hang in the back and, you know, just be the support. It's weird, like, a bard's supposed to be a performer, but sometimes I feel like it's almost more of a stage crew when it comes to battle.
It definitely runs more in the social game, which is what I prefer anyway. I like fighting is fun, but I really like the social aspect of like the storytelling of Dungeons & Dragons and such. So I like being really useful in those situations. Like my characters tend to have really high charisma, really high dexterity, and be like incorrigible flirts.
Okay, all right. There's, you know what? It's funny. Like, I think people always complain, like they're like, oh, the thirsty bard. I'm like, well, so what? But also, like, I think it's funny if you also can just make a character that's not a bard kind of thirsty, or like it's kind of funny.
Oh yeah. A half-orc ranger was another favorite that I made.
Also thirsty.
Also thirsty. She was out for blood and dick. So I'm not allowed to say that. Sorry.
Oh, I don't know. I think so. I'm pretty sure I've watched. Well, you know, I've seen other D&D podcasts say way worse things. So I think you can say. Cool. I think you can say dick on here. It's okay. And I said it too to make you feel better.
Thanks.
No, that's fine. I really do like. So when you're going through the story, do you try to like avoid conflict? Or are you one of the ones who like always can try to talk their way out of almost everything?
I think it kind of depends. I'm not willing to talk my way out of everything. If I could schmooze my way out and still like come out on top, I'll definitely do it.
Nice.
But if someone's being a pain in the ass, I'm gonna kill them.
Okay, that makes sense.
You know, like if someone's like trying to be aggressive, like throwing hands.
What was one of like
weapons.
The times where you did lay into that role play like kind of thing? I like the giggles already. I like when people are like, we're gonna tell this? Should I tell this one? Yes, tell it.
I was trying to get into my character was trying to get into a walled city with 2 bear cubs, and because I accidentally killed their mom.
Oh. Less sad now. Okay.
It's sad. And then I was gonna sell them into like the fighting pits, which wasn't there.
You're right. A paladin is not the place for you.
No, it's not. I am chaotic good at best.
Okay. All right.
So this was when I was my first bard. So I was coming fresh off of the rogue first bard, so I wasn't quite like good yet. And I tried to get past the literally 60-year-old one-armed guard. Like that was his character. He was 1,000 years old. He only had one arm. He couldn't do much. Okay. And I had a barbarian with me to get past the gates. And he said I couldn't bring live animals into the city without a permit. So I tried to schmooze him. Right. And I kept rolling that once.
Oh no.
And eventually I tried to force my way past him. And he rolled 3 nat 20s in a row. My character literally fell forward on his spear and got impaled.
Oh my! Did you die, or did your party save you?
I didn't die, no, because I had a fair amount of healing buffs for my character.
Oh, that's good.
But like against a fresh bard and a barbarian, just with 2 bear cubs trying to get into a city, a 60-year-old one-armed security guard took both of us out.
I feel like it's like some Rafiki stuff, you know, from like the Lion King.
It was the first time I ever tried schmoozing somebody, and it went horrifically.
Yeah, that's the way it goes sometimes. You can't, you know, the dice tell you the story sometimes. There's nothing you can do about it. Take all the steps. That's hilarious. So then when did you do you remember the first time when you finally got it? Finally worked? Because I feel like I'm still at that point with my bard where like I'll try it, but it never works for me. I'm like waiting for it to actually work.
I was a bard. I was a half-elf bard, and she was like this bright, bubbly kind of character, you know, like after the angsty phase had really faded from my life.
Sure.
And she had to seduce a security guard to get another party member out of jail from the castle. Like the king himself had grabbed him.
Okay.
And she did a dance while other people snuck by her, like behind her, like directly behind her. So she's dancing, and people are going right behind her, and the guard doesn't even see them at all.
Man, so you rolled so high that you were able to like distract them. Nice.
Yeah, I had a really high modifier for her. I dumped all of my points into charisma. Yeah, like she was 100% min-maxed. If anybody flicked her, she'd die.
You get double proficiency, I think, with bar. If you were playing 5e, you probably took the double proficiency.
Yeah,
I think that's like it was. So you like, yeah, it's so crazy when you have like a, when you're a low level and you have like this high amount of double, whatever, 10 plus 10, and you're like level 4. You're like, this is cool.
This
like,
is ridiculous. Yeah.
I can almost never fail.
I do like
nice.
building characters like that.
Yeah, I like tried a couple characters where I'm like, I'm not gonna put the stats where they should be. We'll just see kind of, and it's funny because it just makes for a funny character and story. But then like when you're like, oh, I'm a this class, but I'm really bad in combat because I didn't do this right. But you stick with it. Very cool. So
luckily I never get that far.
Yeah. So what's going on? So I know you're not playing. Have you played anything recently? I know you've been playing, like you've played for many, many years, but you're not currently in anything right now.
I'm not currently in a campaign. I'm actually, me and a friend are co-writing a D&D styled story, and we're using dice to dictate how things turn out in our stories.
That's very cool. That's really interesting.
It's a fun time. With luck, because we do want to actually have, it's a full-blown novel at this point. It's maybe 200 pages so far.
So then, when you're writing the story, do you write down, like if you were going to roll a 10-sided die, do you write down 10 different scenarios and then roll the die? And then go with the story from there? Or how do you, what is the die determining?
We kind of, write down, all right, worst case scenario, this happens, best case scenario, this happens, and then, 2 or 3 other options and we kind of, 1 to 2 is going to be 1, 2 to 4 is going to be this one, 4 to 6 is going to be that one. So, we don't write 10 different scenarios. We have a couple of ideas of where we could take it depending on the role.
That's fine. That makes sense, but that's still cool because you're still troubleshooting all these ideas, and that's essentially when you play through a campaign and you're building that story, that's literally what happened, and you're writing the story kind of as you go. So that's a really interesting way. Can you spill a little bit? What is it? Is it fantasy based or is it?
It's 100% fantasy based.
Okay,
oh yeah, it's deeply rooted. I don't know if you've seen the Tumblr post. It was about how the name Tiffany is actually a Renaissance era name, but no one would name their character Tiffany because it sounds super modern.
Right.
So we have an ancient druid crone who is named Tiffany, who's this wise woman of the woods.
That's crazy. I never knew that. That was an old rooted name like that.
Yeah. Tiffany is a nickname for Theophania. So
Theophania. Wow.
Isn't that pretty?
It is. It sounds way better than Tiffany, to be honest.
So Tiffany's a nickname for that, and that's how we got the name Tiffany.
That's
so we decided to name this ancient, super wise lady of the woods Tiffany, and she's teaching a ranger his stuff, and then they meet a half-blooded tiefling and a half-elf.
Very cool. All right, so it is very rooted in
magic,
fantasy lore, and all that stuff. That's great. I'm a fan of that. I've been I've always into Lord of the Rings and all that stuff, and it's always great. So you said you played some sci-fi stuff as well. How did you feel about did you like the sci-fi? Because that's one format I haven't gone with yet.
It was fantasy sci-fi, so we had space orcs, and we had space liches, we had black hole mermaids, we had fun stuff going on. It was a really fun mashup, and again, my GM, he was putting effort into these stories. All of our stuff was homebrew, and he wrote everything.
I mean, honestly, it really is I like it when I don't want to do it, but I run a few games, but it's always module based. I don't really want to do that, but when it really is better when someone writes it and you can morph the story around it.
He is a great storyteller.
Yeah. Well, I also kind of like how with the space ones, it seems like they just took the medieval stuff and just threw it in space, kind of.
Pretty much, yeah.
I know other ones have other races and stuff, but I just like the idea of like you were saying, a lich or a lich.
Space lich.
Yeah, I don't know. It's in Doctor Who when they're in the spacesuit, but then it's the skull with the Vashta Narada or something like that.
Oh my god!
I just picture that as the lich.
Brought back some memories.
Yeah, sorry. I got back into Doctor Who recently.
Nice.
Yeah, new Doctor's great. Very, very cool.
I haven't seen anything past Metseth.
I liked Peter Capaldi. He was good? He was a good Doctor. I liked him as the Doctor. I didn't like the episodes the way they were written. I just, for some reason, he got like kind of the crap deal on the writing aspect. Because I feel like
that's a shame.
Yeah, because they change writers a lot, and those episodes, they just, like, if you watch them, they all have a very similar cadence to how the episode progresses, and they never really defer from that. And I don't want to, like, give it away, because I still think you should watch him, because I think he was like, a really fun take on the Doctor. But then, like, this new Doctor, she's great. She kind of gives me a little Matt Smith vibe. She's, like, energetic and perky.
High energy.
Like, high energy. But her episodes are really well written, so that's my thing, is I feel bad for Peter Capaldi, because I feel like
he got the short stick.
Yeah, I feel like he got the short stick when it comes to the writing. Come at me, BBC. I'll tell you. Anyway.
Fix their episodes.
That's one thing that I don't know if you're, I would love to try the Doctor Who role-playing game, because there is one.
I've done a lot of, like, really weird, quirky ones, but nice. I haven't done Doctor Who.
Which ones have you done? Because so far, like, I know I've just done pretty much regular 5e, Call of Cthulhu, and I recently did a Chronicles of Darkness one, which was similar to Call of Cthulhu. It was fun.
Okay.
Heard
of Call of Cthulhu, never did that one. I think it was, like, the Seven Samurai, or something like that. Seven swords, samurai, seven samurai swords, something samurai. Yeah. But that was, again, like late high school, so that was a while ago. And then I did a Weird West one, and that was wild.
Weird West, okay.
Yeah.
What was that one like? Like what?
So it was basically like I'm trying to think of the word, like Gold Rush era America. But with supernatural elements like zombies and like, I remember some of the characters, like a lot of Native American myth and lore was in there, so that was really cool. So you're constantly running across monsters you've never heard of, because everyone knows Greek monsters, like Norse or like different mythologies and stuff. And I feel like a lot of people don't know a lot of Native American mythology, so you have those monsters coming at you. You have nothing, no background knowledge to help you with it.
That's really cool.
Yeah,
but your characters, even if you knew what they were, your characters didn't know what they were, because they weren't from like that era either, kind of situation, or they just weren't familiar because they were, you know.
You like obviously your characters, you're given some information, but you know, like if you're playing like a Greek-styled RPG, you come across like the Golden Fleece, you know what that is. You know, it's from the Lamb, it's the Cyclops nearby. That's the story. But when you run up against like a Wendigo or a Skinwalker, you don't really have a whole lot of knowledge to draw on to help your character through it.
Right. I have heard of Skinwalkers before, as far as that lore goes. I've listened to it on like a podcast or something, but that is really
scary.
Cool. The more story based, I definitely like it. I don't know. There's just. You would definitely like Call of Cthulhu because there's almost no combat in it. When it is combat, like it's just very quick. You're like, quickly, what are you doing? You're probably gonna die anyway, so like it doesn't really matter. Have you had one of your characters die, whether in one of these weird one shots or
actually my Weird West character died. Yeah.
Oh yeah, what happened?
Yeah, she was a one-legged prostitute.
Did you have like an old Western double barrel shotgun on her leg, like from Planet Terror?
She did.
Yeah, like Planet Terror.
Why would I give her one leg if I'm not going to make it a gun?
Oh man, amazing.
She had terrible aim, obviously.
Well, yeah, it's tough.
But the modifiers for the Weird West.
Right? Oh, yeah. Sorry, I am sorry, friends.
That was hilarious.
Yep. All right. Moving on.
I'm gonna think about that now. The way that the score was for the Weird West was really bizarre. It was out of 8. Like the highest you can roll was an 8.
Oh, so it was a D8 system?
Yeah, D8 system. Like I'd never seen anything like that before. And when we played, my DM, he had never run the campaign before. So the first time he let me make a one-legged prostitute. I had the shotgun leg. I had throwing knives. Nice. And then I dumped all my other points into charisma again.
Right. Okay. That's fine. I mean, you're a prostitute, so that makes sense.
Like, why wouldn't I?
Right.
So I had the skill Pretty, which gives you a +2 modifier to your charisma rolls.
Okay.
And then if you have Pretty, it qualifies you for the next step up with it, which is Very Pretty. And that gives you a +4 modifier to your rolls on top of the +2. I was rolling +6s for any charisma roll.
Oh, and if it's a D8,
I was pretty much one-shotting everything.
Pretty much
like,
impossible.
I could walk up to anything and be like, give me your wallet, and they would have to.
I'm like, wow.
So she died, mostly out of spite.
So what?
I think my DM was a little bit done. Basically, we were being swamped by gold mine zombies. And they were all like minor 49ers kind of a thing.
Okay. And
she got swamped, and she had 2 throwing knives and 1 shot left, and she bit the dust.
Couldn't make it. Oh man,
no.
That's hilarious though. And that was the Weird West. Okay.
That was Weird West. If you wanted something outrageous, that's the one.
I like that. I like outrageous a lot. I also like Western themed. Like that's why we did a Call of Cthulhu like thing here, but we got to choose the theme, and the guy Jacob was like, we could do, and he gave us a list, and I was like, I would love to do Western. Western's so fun.
Yeah.
Because I don't know, there's a lot of like weird, like, not to use that word, but like weirdness about Western is like, it was so desolate that like it opens up that world for like strange things, because there's like mirages, and it was a Wild West, it was like a crazy world. So like you said, like gold mines and
I think the game really does a good job of like bringing in all that, like you're out in the middle of nowhere, no one's gonna come help you, you're gonna see some weird shit.
Yeah,
I think the game did a really good job emulating
nowhere. I'm really interested. I love all these like the strange settings, and it is too. It also is very like when you go from playing. How did you feel like when you go from playing like a system like Pathfinder or D&D, where you're pretty much like a medieval superhero, to then you playing a human, and you're like, oh, I went from like, even though it doesn't scale the same, but you're like, I had 60 hit points and now I have 5. Like, this is weird and scary. Like, well, you're a person, you're a real person. Like, what do you like better? Do you like being more of a superhero, or do you like kind of playing a person?
I've always been a hardcore Magic fan. Like, I've always been like deep in, like chest deep in any of the arcane or like book magic, like it's always been my bread and butter. So I definitely prefer like the high fantasy stuff, but even like if your hit points change drastically, I've always been really into the social game of it. So
gotcha. So it doesn't really matter too much to you?
I want to say it doesn't matter, but it definitely does. Like, in terms of gameplay, I don't think it matters that much, because I'm pretty good being whichever I need to be. Mm-hmm. But when it comes to like immersion, I prefer the fantasy for sure.
Yeah. I'm kind of in that boat too. I do, doing the other ones are fun, but I always just enjoy that fantasy world. Cool. So what you've playing for so long, I like to just kind of like toss the ball in your court. What are some of your favorite moments, like favorite memories, time?
Oh gosh, you gotta take me back. Favorite moment was taking me back in the old days.
Old days of drinking Mountain Dew and Cheetos and rolling dice like a couple of crazy kids.
Oh man, the dice! Don't put me on the dice habit.
Oh, let's talk about that after. But throw some.
I think a couple of favorites. My first run-in with the gelatinous cube. That was hilarious, because I was combat-based and I was 16, so I had absolutely zero sort of tactical skill.
Right.
So my only thing was to shoot an arrow at it or hit it, and I just got eaten by a gelatinous cube, and I had to have someone pull me out after.
Yeah. Oh. That's such a weird enemy that was created.
Right, like, who thought, what's gonna do damage? Jello cube.
Jello cube. It's like, so maybe they were just sitting at home, and so like when they put the plate down, it jiggles and. Okay, but what if it was made of like acid and just like engulfed everything? Yeah.
What if this could kill me? Yeah. Actually,
there's a lot of weird jelly monsters too. Like I've encountered a few of them. Yeah, one of them, my character had a whip, and I went to whip it. And
definitely went badly.
So a whip is slashing damage. So anytime this thing takes slashing damage, it splits into 2.
Oh,
So I like,
so you're just like fighting
I
a
did
thousand
some
of them.
damage to it, but I just like split the thing into two, and I was like, this is not. It's like with the, like in Hercules, like, would you cut it with the head slicing thing? I was like, can't do anything. I'm just gonna. I was like, what if we just make a bunch of little ones and they'll all only
And
have like
step on
one hit point each? Yeah. Very cool. Gelatinous cube is great.
Yeah.
What else? Any other?
Oh yeah, I got a ton, I'm
Go
sure. Gelatinous cube was fun. With the Mitchell Flips homebrew, we had to invade a pirate ship because why wouldn't the big bad evil guy be on the ship?
Yeah.
So invading a pirate ship, and that went horrifically, like to the point of where just like instead of invading it, we just sunk it.
Oh, you just
we never fought him. We sunk his battleship by accident.
How did you what was the methodology? Was it like when you sunk the battleship, was it like a pre-planned strike, or were you like in the middle of a combat and you're like, screw it, we're gonna take this thing down?
We failed stealth rolls over and over to the point of exploding the belly of the ship.
Wait, how did you... Alright, so you were rolling stealth rolls?
We were rolling stealth rolls, and there was gunpowder in the belly of the ship where they were storing it. And we failed so badly, we tripped, knocked it over, and then tripped again and knocked over a lamp, and we blew up the ship.
Did you die?
Yeah.
Oh, so just you TPK'd?
Like TP, like everyone died, everyone got knocked out. There was no winning that one. My dad was just like, "How did you guys do that?" I had like, "What did you do?"
Oh my god, that's hilarious. So did you? And the big bad was on the ship as well.
On the ship, but
so
he was a fish person, so he swam away.
Oh, I thought the explosion would have killed him.
My dad tried to spin it a little bit. He's like, "Oh, but were they really dead? We don't know." And it's like, and Mitchell Flips lost a fin, but he'll be back with a scar on it, and we never played it again.
You never played it again? Yeah.
No. It was just one of those stupid, because that was a lot of what it was in the beginning. It's just like, I can't roll well enough to defeat this thing, and my DM's like, "Shit, I definitely planned this out wrong. Let's fix this, put a band-aid on it, and never come back to it."
I guess that's also like it's like the one downside with homebrewing stuff is like if you don't like check yourself, you're like in the middle and you're like, oh wait, I made a mistake, and this is like way harder than I anticipated it to be.
We did that a lot. We were 16, 17 years old at the time, we did that a lot.
Yeah, I'm sure that's the way. I'm sure that's how a lot of total party kills go. That's really funny though that you just ended up blowing up the whole ship.
Yeah, everybody died. Everybody died, but our GM was prepared to let us keep our characters if we wanted to play another round.
Got it. Yeah. Yeah, that's good. I mean, he's still out there. Who knows? Maybe you play again. And you just have to roll new characters because now he's like the crippled version of the big bad. So he's got to be more the brains of the operation.
I want to believe that he's out there just like super swole fish guy. You know what I mean? Like he is absolutely jacked, just missing an arm.
Yeah.
And you're gonna see him, and he's got like a fish hook for an arm instead of like Captain Hook style.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, one of those.
That's what you got. That's what he's do. Like I always like waiting for that where like if you start another campaign and then like you're going through for a while and then at some point he mentions the hook and then like brings him back. Like that's always fun.
That'd be fun. That'd be cool.
Have you ever DM'd or no?
I haven't. It's something I've been looking into, but it's a lot of work.
It is. Yeah. I know because we were talking a little bit, and I sent you some things, but it is a lot.
Yeah, it's a lot. I've been looking. Yeah, like I brushed up against it, but honestly, I have so many other hobbies and things to do that I'm like, that'd be fun, and then I didn't do it.
Yeah, I feel for you because I feel like you are a lot like me, where you're just like, I could do all of the things, like, oh, but I could also do this, and then do you ever get overwhelmed, and then you're like, and then you have to dump something?
So. I don't actively dump anything that I'm doing. It's just like every once in a while I forget I have another thing to do, and it gets dusty in a corner, and then when I'm cleaning the next time, I'm like, oh yeah, I remember this, and then I pick it up and forget something else.
Yeah.
Well.
That's it. Yeah, absolutely. Cool. Do you have, I want to hear, if you have any other stories, I'd love to hear it, and then I want to hear about your opinion on dice.
Okay. So I'm gonna breeze through a couple of these really quick.
Sure.
Another favorite memory from the Warhammer one, when I came across Space Orcs, they have a hive mind, but belief system almost. Okay. If all the orcs believe that red will make the ship go faster, the ship will go faster if it's red.
Huh.
And that was easily one of my favorite things. I've always loved that idea. That was my favorite thing about Warhammer, is that one of my friends was an orc, playing an orc, and their currency was the teeth, but they never grew any of their own teeth. They had shards of glass that they stuck in their jaw.
Oh my
yeah,
gosh.
they were hardcore. So they would like regularly fight each other for the bits of glass in their mouths, and
these were player characters?
These were player characters.
Oh, that's funny.
Oh,
it's fun to fight with your fellow player characters. I do it fairly often.
My friend usually plays characters like that, like absolutely insane, like little goblin characters that have way too much strength for their own good. And since I was the captain of that ship, I'd keep catching him painting my engines red to go faster.
That's very,
like
very
little stuff like that. Sometimes, like, when I was in college, I had a DM who liked to make really in-depth characters, and he'd have, like, a dramatic reveal every time, and it was always super exciting.
Like NPCs? Dramatic reveal?
NPCs, yeah, he voiced them, too. He was awesome. He was so fun.
Like,
he was great,
What was your favorite NPC that he came up with?
He introduced basically an invalid, this man completely covered in bandages and such, and he begs you at the very beginning for a silver coin to help with his expenditure. And none of us gave it. I know. Well, we had just started. The silver's a lot of money when you first start out, you know? Yeah. So, and then like 8 sessions later, we ran into him. He's the man funding our expedition.
That's awkward.
I know.
That's awkward.
And like the bandages were indeed covering like massive scarring on his body. So it was wild.
I was afraid you were gonna be like it was a curse or something. Like,
no. He had a dire chameleon companion.
A dire chameleon?
Yeah, it was a chameleon the size of a freaking horse, and it can completely camouflage itself into the surroundings.
Wow,
like
that's really cool.
He wrote some cool shit.
I like that. That's very, very cool.
Yeah.
Nice.
So like all his stories were fun.
Awesome. I love that. So how many sets of dice do you have?
7, so it's not bad.
7? No, that's not that bad. Okay. All right. I'm up there. I got like 4 or 5 now. Full sets. Kind of
okay.
4 or 5, maybe. And I bought one. I decided that I'm gonna be I bought my first set, and then I'm gonna and a couple of people gave me sets, but my thing is I'm gonna be when I go to Comic-Con, like I always like to buy just like one. I don't buy a lot. I just buy one thing. So I think like Comic-Con is gonna be like when I'll buy like a new D20 or dice or something like that. But
okay, that's fair.
Do you because like you have so many dice, do you feel like are there bad dice and good dice, or are you like are there bad dice and good dice, or is it just that's just the way the dice rolls for you?
I definitely believe there's bad dice and good dice.
What'd you say?
I definitely believe there's bad dice and good dice.
Right. Okay.
There's like, and it's completely arbitrary because it is directly related to how pretty I think they are.
Oh yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Oh, I mean,
so like, I have a.
Go ahead.
I have a what is it? I have a set that's like this ugly shade of blue and orange. It was like a random grab bag kind of a deal. And I couldn't see what it was until I got it, and they were ugly as sin. I hate them.
Oh,
and I think I rolled them once, and they got me where I needed to go, but I don't like the color, so I just use them.
Okay, so you just look at it from a perspective, and you're just like, oh, bad dice, because they're just ugly. Okay.
It is exclusively how attractive the dice are.
I got you. Okay, because some people are like, this dice doesn't roll well. It's like, well, it's a dice. It's random every time, but
yeah,
I don't know.
No. I think it's just how pretty it is.
How pretty they are, yeah.
Yeah.
My makes no sense for me. It just depends on what character I'm playing. Like, if I'm playing a character that's just bad at things, I roll really bad. And then if I'm playing a character that's, like, really, like, sick and, like, very awesome, great rolls. And that's just the way it is lately for me. I can't explain it.
It's like the mindset almost.
I think it is. I think it is my mindset. Because I'm playing this weird, dumb character who has no idea what he's doing. And I literally barely roll well at all. And I switched. Like, I played another game with someone, and I just, same dice, better character, and just great rolls all night. And I'm just like, it's just that one character. Ironically, the one that I'm playing constantly now. But, alright. this was awesome. I'm really glad we got to do this. Thanks for coming
oh my gosh,
on.
is an hour gone already? Oh.
It's 45 minutes. We try to keep it to like that 45 mark. People, sometimes it goes longer because they're just like going, which is cool. But I do want to give you some time to plug all your stuff because you do a lot of things. So plug your stuff.
Oh gosh, my TikTok is algrace656. Grace is in like graceful. And that's really all I have to plug right now. My Instagram seems like a cosplay, but it's SEAMS, like clothing seams. I've been kind of dead. I haven't been doing a whole lot of cosplay over the pandemic, unfortunately. I'm not really doing. Okay.
I was just gonna ask, like, on your TikTok, like I feel like you started doing more D&D oriented TikToks, right?
I wanted to open it with, like, I remember watching Quincy's Tavern and loving it and wanting to do stuff like that, and I just don't have the chops for it, or at least not yet.
So do you watch both of those? Like, because you'll like this, then the DM that's running my game brought in Quincy's Tavern and Rosie's Apothecary.
Oh, stop, that's great!
Yeah, Rosie almost killed my character, so...
You deserved it.
I did. I did. That's what happens when you ghost a necromancer.
Ooh, that's fun.
I'll tell you the full story another time because this podcast isn't about me. But great. All right. So, anything else you wanted to?
I think that's about it. Like,
awesome.
Come check out my TikTok if you like. I bake a lot, but not D&D style. But I do D&D styled videos. So.
Awesome. Love to hear that. Great. I will plug my stuff. Thanks for listening to the show. Once again, I'm Tom DeSillis. I'm also a stand-up comedian. You can follow me at Tom DeSillis Comedy on Instagram. Also, Tom DeSillis Comedy on TikTok. I do post my clips of this show. And if you want to be a guest on this show, you can just email me at youhadtobethere@gmail.com. Catch us here live on Twitch or on YouTube or pretty much anywhere you get your podcasts. And gotta plug my supporters, quote unquote supporters. The music for my intro was created, as I mentioned earlier today, by Michael James McGarry. You can follow him at It's MJ Made on Instagram or SoundCloud. And my logo was created by Nicole Summers of the Reliably Chaotic Podcast. And that'll bring us to the end. Thanks everyone. This has been You Had to Be There with Amanda Grace. Bye everyone.
Bye.